I think the thing that's really grabbed my attention is that CGIAR has always done a lot of great science related to climate change and looking at how we can work with partners to bring about greater climate change adaptation and mitigation. But with the Climate Action Science Programme, there's much more emphasis on the action. We've always been interested and challenged by how we move research outputs into having outcomes and impacts, but so much more emphasis is now being given to what are the impacts of the research we're doing and how do we really speed up those impacts and establish new collaborations with partners who we might not otherwise have worked with before. Well, I'm very lucky at the moment to be co-leading an area of work on what we call locally led climate adaptation, which is very dear to my heart because the climate response and what farming communities do has to be geared to what their needs are, what their adaptive capacity is, and we have to recognise that climate adaptation takes different forms. It can be crop diversification, and it depends on the types of farmers involved. Some have more resources, and also climate risks are experienced differently by different types of people. So it's a much more grassroots driven process in terms of identifying research needs, working with local farmers and making sure that ownership lies in their hands and that farmers and other organisations are really empowered to do the research and continue so that we can then take a back seat in the process. Success, just from a personal perspective, not looking at it from the context of the wider programme, would be to build further on some really innovative work we're doing in Kenya and the Philippines and expand to other countries where we're doing climate risk mapping with communities, but we're really drilling down to look at the different risks faced by different people. We're establishing links with local government organisations to look at how some of this risk mapping and social equity can be embedded in local policy endeavours, and to see that scaled and also to see that recognised by government at a provincial and national level, which is very possible in the time frame of the programme. That for me would be a very satisfactory outcome. It links back to what I was talking about a moment ago. It's really looking at how we can recognise the heterogeneity in communities that we're working in, that when it comes to the climate response, it's not one size fits all. We have to make sure that marginalised voices are heard, because often it will be the more vocal, often men in a community, who will say what the climate risks are and what the adaptation pathway should be. So the most important thing is really getting a sense of what those marginalised voices are, and that involves doing our research differently, being a bit more humble in the partnerships we have and letting other people set the research agenda.